Hello friends, this is Tony from Historic American Homes. Design is problem solving, making a mess and fixing it. I wanted to share with you a few minutes of video here about me making a mess and then fixing it, and in the process solving problems. I thought it might offer a little insight into how the design process can work and how you can use it to your advantage to come up with something that works better than what you had before. We're going to be looking at this beautiful cornice that I've created for this federal style home with an integrated gutter and ventilation, and I'm going to show you how it came about. I hope you enjoy the next few minutes and find it all very useful. A like at the end of the video would be much appreciated. Thank you. This is one of the group of federal style houses that I'm working on, and this is a little bit of making problems and fixing them. So I've designed this very nice cornice that I think is very properly scaled for this house, and has the advantage of having a built-in gutter, which would just be a standard sheet metal K gutter. I'll make a whole video about gutters shortly, but there's the gutter, and I've designed it into the cornice so that we get a nice look and we don't have to do an applied gutter. I've incorporated other elements like ventilation strip inside there, and everything's working great until I actually put it on the building and discovered that I have a conflict with the top of the window here. This trim board cuts down too close to the top of the window. So what am I going to do about that? Well, I could go back to the drawing board and redesign the gutter, even though I really like the look of it, or I could take the easy way out, and I'll show you what I did. The first floor has a 9-foot ceiling, and the second floor has an 8-foot ceiling. So what I've decided to do is raise the ceiling of the second floor by 1 foot. I'll show you how that looks. So that means some additional expense. A 1-foot ceiling, 9-foot ceiling rather than an 8 on the upper floor for the bedrooms. It is you get something for your money there. It's going to be nice inside the bedrooms as well as outside. The higher ceiling would be pleasant enough, and it solves the problem of the conflict at the windows. So problem created, problem solved. Now I have another problem I've created with this cornice, and that has to do with how it works with this bay window in the back. I'll show you on the plan first what's going on there. On the ground floor we have this bay going off the back of the house, and that's going to be where the dining area is. And on the upper floor is the master bedroom, and it's a spot, let me turn furniture on. It's a spot where you can set up a nice chair and enjoy some morning sunlight in the master bedroom. So I'm very happy with having that bay back there, but it creates a problem with this cornice. So this piece where I'm running my mouse is the actual sheet metal gutter. It will get a white finish to match the white painted woodwork below it. And that gutter is, there's limits as far as this being sheet metal. What I have here is, in order to get around the corner, if I just simply wrap it around the corner, I end up with this very awkward little tiny bit of sheet metal right here, which is realistically impossible to fabricate. That little thing right there. So again, I think the easy way out, and the one that will add slightly to the cost but will bring value, is to bring the whole bay window out another foot. Right now it projects this distance from here out is 4 feet. So I'm going to increase that to 5 feet, and that means that this will come out another foot before it goes off at an angle, and that will be quite an easy enough length to accommodate with the sheet metal gutter. So another problem created, another problem solved. We're one step closer. adding that the additional foot to the roof is a bit more complicated than the rest of it. I'm going to show you a little bit what I've got here. I make my models where I have finishes and structure in separate groups. So there's the roof structure itself, the space that's needed for the roof framing, and then on top of that comes all of the finishes. In this case, there's going to be exterior insulation on the roof, plus all of the trim and the gutters and all that. So I'm going to start by simply extending the structure out a foot. That's the easy part. But to redo the roof, finish of the roof, I'm going to basically have to redraw it. So I'm going to do that, and I'm not going to narrate here. I'm just going to let the video run at accelerated pace, and then maybe I'll narrate over it afterwards. But I'll tell you this much: what I have is details that I've worked out that show the roof structure, the wall below, the exterior insulation, the gutter, and then I've used that to create a profile, which is what you see here. There's my profile, and I'm going to use that profile and wrap it around the structure. So that's what I'll be doing now. So I've got this profile I created, which I'm now bringing over to the roof structure. I'm going to trace the perimeter of the roof structure and use that as a path, and use the Follow Me tool to trace that profile along the path. So here I am creating the path, simply tracing over the roof structure. Get the structure out of the way and get rid of that face. I don't need the face, I only need the perimeter. And there you go, that's the Follow Me tool, one of the greatest tools in SketchUp. Now I've left a big opening there. I'm going to fill that in. There are a lot of different ways to do that kind of Follow Me procedure with building a more complex roof, and this is just one of them. I'm sure that there are others. However, I find this one works for me because it's very intuitive. I can see exactly what's where, and I don't have to do a whole lot of cleanup. I'd rather build the shape than erase a lot of extraneous bits, which is what you have to do with some of the other techniques. The outline that I created there with the Follow Me tool gives me the lines of the hips and valleys, and then I can use guidelines on those to help me finish the overall finished roof structure. Now it's just a matter of cleanup, just a few extra lines to erase. Not much. I've got a little bit underneath I have to fix. I missed a line when I was working on the top. I missed that ridge line there. So there you go. So this is our finished roof. It's the roof surface above and the cornice and the gutters all complete. This is one of the reasons why I like to keep structure and finishes separate in my file by using two separate tags and grouping elements and objects in those tags. Now I'm going to paint the surfaces with my materials palette, and mostly these cedar shingles go on pretty well, but on a few of these roof planes I have to make some adjustments. For some reason this front roof plane, the shingles would not lay correctly oriented on the roof. So I had to go in manually and rotate them and move them into the correct position. So all I'm doing here is a bunch of that kind of cleanup. We'll get there. Yeah, there we are. Letting it parallel with the eave. I like to have a full shingle at the eave because that's the way they're installed, and so I am adjusting it so that I have a starter course that's got a full shingle, and then line up the faces so that where they meet at the hip, the shingle courses also line up, because you can see that they don't quite match yet. They're going to match. I'm running all of this video at double time. You don't need to sit and watch me do this in real time. I thought I could just narrate over as I run it at double speed here. And there, the last little bit, the front edges of the shingles. Now this is not intended to be photorealistic architectural rendering. I work with a fellow who does really beautiful photorealistic rendering, and I will be sending him these files and he'll turn it into something gorgeous. But this is more than adequate to create a nice, simple presentation that gets the design concepts across. Being able to do it all internally in SketchUp is really an advantage. My friend who does the architectural rendering, he has a much more powerful computer than me. He uses a bunch of programs I'm not familiar with. He's got a lot of skills I don't have. So, you know, that's another whole skill set, that kind of rendering, and it's beautiful. Well, I'll share with you the pictures he makes once I've got them. So I've cut a section in here, and in the process I've noticed that I did not raise the internal wall by a foot to match the outside wall. I raised the walls that were originally 8 feet, I raised them to 9, and I neglected to do the inside wall. You can see the gap there at the top of the wall. From the wall to the ceiling, there's a 1-foot gap where I've got the mouse. So I've got to get in there and fix that, which is what I'm going to do now. It's very quick and easy. Here you see me using the push-pull tool to raise that wall a foot to match the perimeter exterior walls. I moved the old roof, copied it over 50 feet away just to have it on hand in case I still wanted it. Now I'm done with this and I know I won't be needing it, so I'm going to delete it and keep my model file a little more manageable size and a little bit cleaner. And there's a downspout to the right of the front door around the corner. I've got to make some adjustments to that downspout because now with this new cornice, it's a little bit, it overhangs a little bit more, and the downspout needs to intersect into the bottom of the gutter itself. So that's what I'm doing here. I also did the same to the downspout in the back. I didn't show you that because I didn't think you needed to see this all twice, but you'll see the finished result when we get around back. I can probably refine this more. I'm going to move that downspout another couple of feet back from the corner so it's a little less visible on the front of the house. Downspouts are always a bit problematic. It's really hard to find the best place to put them where they're functional and at the same time not in your face as you look at the main elevations of the house. So I can move that back closer to the garage, and that'll help. I'll do that later. Looking pretty good there. Here we are with the new cornice, and I'm going to go in, and there's a little strip there 3/4 inches deep, which is ventilation. I'm going to paint that gray to show that it's different material. It's the wall that I'm doing, the finished wall, is ventilated in the back. It's what they call a rain screen, and I'll do a video all about rain screen walls. But it needs to have an airflow behind the siding as well as in front, of course. So, and that airflow needs to have a gap at the bottom of the wall and at the top of the wall. So this is a way of providing the gap at the top of the wall. It's a 3/4 inch polypropylene strip from a company called Coravent, and it's pretty harmless as far as plastics go, and it keeps the bugs out from your ventilation gap behind the wall. Looking good in the back. I'm going to do some little hoods over those 2 back doors. There's the one on the right which goes into the dining area, and then the one on the far left goes into the garage. I've got a little hood design I worked out on the previous project that I think I can use. I'll make a video about that as well. Here I am finishing up the back downspout. Overall, I think the results are looking pretty good. This is Tony from Historic American Homes. If you're enjoying this, I hope you'll check out the other videos on my channel. I've also put in a link. I have an eBay store where I have drawings of historic American homes, which I find to be a great design resource and inspiration. Next few videos I'll be doing one all about cornices for all different styles of house, including bungalows and prairie homes, because that roof line is probably one of the most important factors in creating the right look for the outside of your home. And it's also a piece of structure that gets tremendous amount of wear and tear from the weather, so you have to design it for both. It's got to look good and it's got to work. That's going to be my next video. Okay, that's enough for today. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Please click the like button and see you later.